Okay, so for this morning's breakfast, we're going to be making chickpea sauce and parratta, and we're going to be making some tomato sauce. Now, to make the tomato sauce, I've prepared green chilies, garlic, quite a fair amount because it's a lot of tomato sauce, and I've got half a teaspoon of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt, coriander seeds, cumin seeds, a little bit of juin, what's that called in English? I will try and get the name for that. And then we've got a few mustard seeds there as well. So these I'm going to crush in a mortar. Pestle and mortar is what it's called. So basically what we're going to do is put all those ingredients in here, and we're going to crush them. Now, the reason why I've added the sugar and the bit of salt to this is the salt will extract the moisture out of the mixture, and the sugar will combine it together and stop it from flying about. It's quite hard to generally do just on its own, so when you've got a bit of sugar and salt combined, it just breaks it down and makes it a lot easier to do. So there's always a reason for the madness, if you wondered why I have gone and added salt to this. Okay, now the other thing, potatoes, I've chopped them quite large, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in a bag and I'm going to put them in the microwave, and I'm going to let the steam build up and let the potatoes soften up. The onions I'm going to fry in the oil. Now I'm going to make quite a bit of this mixture because I'm hoping to be away. I'm going away for about 3 weeks, and during the period that I'm away, I'm hoping that my family can take one of these containers out of the freezer and make a fresh batch each time as and when required. So I'll fill you in more on that as we go along. For the moment, these are just all the ingredients. What we're going to do is stick the potatoes in the microwave, fry the onions lightly in oil, and drain the chickpeas and wash them out, the original, flavouring on it, and also grind the mixture, and we'll come back when all those things are in place. At this stage we've got two things happening. We've got the olive oil in this pan, which we're going to add our crushed mixture to. And then here we've got onions that have been slightly browned. And the onions, I'm going to add the chickpeas and the potatoes too. Now I'm making quite a large quantity because I don't, one of the problems that you often encounter when cooking is it's quite difficult to work with such a small quantities, and one of the problems that we have when we make in large quantity is it gets left over, and then the next time you want to eat, it's not, one, you're fed up with it because you've already had it. Secondly, the flavour has gone because you've made it previously, and when you reheat it, it doesn't retain the flavour. So what we're going to do is actually part make this, and then we're only going to use, the final part of it, we're only going to use a small amount of it, and the rest we're going to separately put it in containers as to when that's required. So to this warmed up oil, I will need to put the camera down as I will need to stir these, but I'm going to add the crushed mixture to this. So this basically we're just going to saute and make sure that all the potatoes and the chickpeas are all covered with the oil and the fried onions. In the other pot, which we have the mixture, this is our extra special herb spice sauce, and basically what we're doing with this is just frying it out a little bit, and then we're going to be adding the tomatoes. Now the tomatoes, what I did with them was, yesterday I had already put the tomatoes just with a few chilies, and I've basically gone and cooked them so that all the water contents dried out. The only thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take the hand blender and I'm going to whisk this through so that it's all nice and smooth like paste. Now the sauce I've whisked through and it's thickened up quite nicely. The mixture is all ready, so what we're going to do is just add that to that. We're going to leave the pan for the moment because there's little bits left on it, but we're going to make what we need for today. We're going to actually make that in that pan. So this sauce is just full of flavour. It's very concentrated, and you need to cook it for about 5 minutes or until the oil starts to separate. We want the water content dried out of this. So once the oil starts to separate from the mixture, like such, and it'll also leave a beautiful colour. Now the only other thing I've added to this is about a teaspoon of mixed turmeric, paprika and chili powder, and also about a spoon of salt. So everything's included in this now. The only thing we want is a small amount of this taken out and a bit of the other ingredients added to this to make it the flavourful dish that we want. So to this we've added enough mixture for our today's morning breakfast. The rest of the mixtures we've left them separate, and we're going to let these cool down, and once they cool down we're going to put them in containers. Put the chickpeas and the potatoes in a container just half filled, and then we'll put this in a plastic bag when it's cooled down, just a small amount, and also the dolmio sauce, because one of the biggest problems that we have is generally when you get a jar of dolmio sauce which is about this big, and it doesn't keep, obviously you have to use it within the 3 days of opening, and we often don't tend to use it, and then it just ends up going off, and it's such a waste. So what I'm going to do is put this in plastic bags as well, because this is enough for like 3 servings, and save the 2 servings for breakfast in the following 2 weeks. So I've done the job for like quite a few different servings, and it's also given me no wastage and good result, hopefully. Okay, so this is my adults version. This is quite spicy and quite hot. Now, one of the other problems that we often have is children, they don't eat that spicy stuff, and we take it for granted. Whatever we cook, we want to give it to them as well, and sometimes we're trying to force it down them, and it's not a good idea. Obviously, children are not, familiar with that hot, spicy foods, so they need their taste buds developing, and it'll take a long while. And now what I've done is, in the same pan, I've put the mixture, our prepared curry, into a serving dish, and then in the same pan I've taken a spoonful of the mixture, and basically added just a little bit of water to it, and this has got no spices in, so it's suitable for children, and I've added just a spoon of dolmio sauce to that, and that's ready for the children. So it's a 2-in-1 combined dish where you can actually think of the problems of children as well. You can sort out dishes for different members of the household. In my household, my husband doesn't eat spicy stuff, and obviously my grandchildren don't, so when I'm cooking I'm fairly conscious and aware of that, but it doesn't mean that we have to compromise our own taste or standards to suit the children, or compromise the children's to suit ours. So in a way, you're wanting to save time and you're wanting to address so that everybody's happy. So this is my solution for it, that prepare your mixtures, but prepare them so that you're doing it as a 2-in-1, and you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone.